What is something that you're for sure the US government is hiding from us? The entire Congress is busy winning in the stock market with insider information and couldn't care less about doing their jobs. Epstein's client list. I'm convinced that our ICBM protection system is far more accurate than the Pentagon is willing to admit. Cheese, big blocks of cheddar cheese. They used to give them away decades ago, but you never hear of them now. Gigantic warehouses crammed with enormous archives about unbelievable X2OB. If your life was a book, what would this chapter be titled? Chapter 30, Where Did My Savings Fuck Off To? This page has been intentionally left blank. You will never sleep again. I have young children. Confused and erect a tale of mediocre perversion and regret. Chapter 20, age 20. Chapter 16, bro, nothing has happened yet. Where is the story? Recession, the hairline, and financial woes. Happy for the first time. Hemorrhoid, the log splitter I never asked for. Everything's shit and nothing works. Chapter 17, depression and loneliness. Endless misery. What's a movie that you love even though you know it's a horrible movie? Twister, I love that movie. The characters are great. And of course the effects are awesome. I keep hearing how horrible it is, but I don't see it. Evolution 2001 starring David Duchovny, Orlando Jones, Sean William Scott, and Julianne Moore. It's poorly written, poorly acted, and was a box office flub. I love every second of that steaming pile of poo. I like Joe Dirt even though mostly everyone I know thinks it's terrible. Con Air, it's ridiculous, cheesy, and over the top, but there isn't a dull moment in it. And an incredible cast too. Armageddon, the concept is dumb but I still love watching it. Aliens start invading Earth, kill everyone on sight except you after taking a good look at you. What would be the reason? They see the light, long gone from my eyes, and give me a reassuring pat on the shoulder. They realize letting me live is the worst of the two options. I'm the one who sent the signal. The cats told them I was cool. I'm sexy to aliens. Big old titties. I am clearly not a threat. They recognize me from that time I took DMT. I literally just sneezed, so they probably ran away for safety. They need a snack for the way back. They sense the horny in me. I don't kill spiders and release them outside. Turn out their deity look like a spider. I can cook. What does Japan have that Korea doesn't have? Ocean on all sides. My geography might be incorrect, but Korea doesn't have as many natural disasters like Japan, do they? Google Maps. Major professional wrestling organizations. Japan has way more porn. Godzilla. Studio Ghibli. A north and a south in the same country. Oda. I don't know the answer, but this question is a nice change from the usual what does the UK have? That the US doesn't, or something similar. The thing that Japan have that Korea doesn't is censored. Japan has cornered the market with anime and video games, whereas Korea has claimed music and television. It has J, P, and an N. People that have been considered clinically dead for more than a couple minutes. Can you remember that period? If so, how can you best describe it? I don't remember anything leading up to waking up abruptly to a room full of paramedics and firemen. No visions or white nothing. No sense of time was the weirdest bit. When you sleep, you at least have a pretty good idea that it was for just a few hours. When I came to, I was like the Robin Williams, what year is it, meme. What's the weirdest thing a medical professional has casually said to you? You just hang on right there, we will get you a wheelchair and admitted to the hospital. We have to do a colonoscopy. But don't worry, I will knock you out before sticking a camera up your ass. If you ever tried to have a baby, the kid would snap your pelvis into and rip you in half. Said by my gynecological surgeon. He said it in the most casual manner. I was mortified. If you could delete anything from the world, what would it be? Cancer. If we just took greed out of the picture, that would prevent loads of issues we are having today. Eurydice 22. Rapists, but more specifically pedophiles. The warm side of the pillow law. Depression. mental illness, sex trafficking, cancer, mosquitoes, corruption, me. The moon, I think it would be funny to watch the theories of where it went. Mosquitoes, because who needs those little bloodsuckers anyway? I'd make childhood trauma not exist. There would be so much less evil or simply hurt in the world. Child animal abuse, lowest of the low. What's the greatest fake band from a movie or TV show to ever exist? Why? Coconut Pete, he has that song Pina Colada that came out 7 years before Margaritaville was even. A thought in that guy's damn head. Son of a bitch. Buffet was such a fan that he actually played Coconut Pete songs in some concerts and nobody even knew the difference. Rip Jimmy Buffet Bill Paxton. Spinal Tap. Wild Stallions. Powerline, a goofy movie. The Electric Mayhem. Death Clock. The Lone Rangers. The Commitments. California Dreams, either them or Zack Attack. The Soggy Bottom Boys. Josie and the Pussycats' 3 small words fucking rules. The Wonders. What screams, I'm a boring person? Putting please don't be boring in their bio? People who lack curiosity are often not as interesting. As interesting individuals tend to be genuinely interested in various things, finding it very difficult to believe interesting life stories that other people have to tell. Once you get to know someone, the majority of individuals turn out to be very intriguing. However, practically everyone has a polite wall that you must first go through. Judging others' hobbies and interests. It's someone who robs you of your alone without offering you companionship. According to Oscar Wilde, all they talk about is work. Only topics of conversation are making fun of people. Likes. I'm a moderator for several popular subreddits. What are the hobbies that is an immediate red flag? There was a post of a guy that was angry at his mother because her hobby was to find random people on the net, find everything about them, and message them about it. My old roommate used to go out driving on rainy days specifically to splash pedestrians. That seems pretty red flaggy to me. Well, reading the comments, I'm feeling better about my Warhammer collection. I hate saying this cause I have close friends that are into it, but oftentimes gambling. Especially since it's usually a very thin line between hobby and addiction. Over-identification with weed when someone makes smoking weed their entire identity. It may signal an unhealthy relationship with the substance. What is the most ridiculous thing you've seen someone get offended by? I had a boss get mad at me because when she said good morning, I responded with hello. She got in my face and said no. I said good morning. Say it back. I didn't stay there long lol. When I worked at McDonald's, they discontinued the Smarty McFlurry for a short time. When explaining to anyone who ordered one, you'd have thought I threatened their family or something with how offended people were. Making a joke about in Berlin, apparently, it was too soon. I wish I were joking. People that say fuck in every sentence. Why? I spent too much time in both union jobs and tech support. I actually found cursing small ways to let out a little bit of steam from the lava vents of stress, anxiety, and depression. Since I can't put on a Batman suit and beat bad guys to a pulp, cursing will have to do. Or therapy IDK. Because fuck you, that's why. I have no fucking idea. Because it keeps people from fucking talking to me. It's fucking great. Because I'm fucking English, you cunt. Was raised around people who swore all the time, and I have a lot of pent-up rage. I genuinely try not to, but it's really difficult. Buffett stated, I could end the deficit in 5 minutes. You just pass a law that says that anytime there is a deficit of more than 3 of GDP, all sitting members of Congress are ineligible for re-election. What do you think about this? Buffett wasn't making a serious policy proposal with this quote. He was making a commentary on congressional function. The point he was making was that Congresspeople bleeding over the deficit was all kabuki, and that there was a lot more they could do if they were actually serious. The actual proposal is moronic, but it wasn't ever intended to be reasonable to begin with because the point isn't about the deficit. What instantly ages someone? Stress, lack of sleep, Back pain. You can't move like a young person if your back hurts. Grief. Nothing ages you like grief. Skin cancer. Have watched my brother-in-law age 30 years in a month. Meth and alcohol. Troubleshooting printer problems. I swear these devilish machines only exist to trigger me to smithereens. I was gonna say the way you dress, but it went real dark in the comments. Hair loss. Not me personally, but I used to work with a guy who I swore was like 35, and he was 19. X2OB. Poor kid. Night shifts in the emergency department. Death of a child. War. The loss of a loved one. Smoking. What's a red flag you don't mind so much in a potential SO? Someone who isn't close to their own family. I'm not close with mine, either. I'd actually think it was refreshing to be with someone who understood and felt the same way. I've been told my lack of social media is a major turnoff and a major red flag. But I find a guy that doesn't have any social media or very little attractive. It's all about perspective. I don't mind some mild possessiveness. In fact, I think it's kind of hot ... I blame all the Wattpad stories I consumed during my formative years. What country will you not travel to because it's too dangerous? La Ceiba, Honduras. It seemed like there wasn't a single other tourist in town. I got food in a restaurant near the beach. When it was time to pay, I went to the restroom for privacy to get my cash in order. When I came out, the owner asked me why I was hiding in the bathroom. That everyone knew I was in there counting my money, and that I didn't belong in town and should definitely leave before nightfall. It was a big vibe. San Pedro Sula, Honduras. I turned a corner and saw a man walking towards me, dazed, covered in blood from his head on down. I immediately turned noped out in another direction. What's the most disgusting thing that's been normalized? Politicians being blatantly corrupt and no systems in place to hold them responsible. So you basically have to wait until they are out of office while watching them destroy your province. Looking at you, Doug Ford. Lying in public discourse. Being openly and unapologetically corrupt. Recording people who are minding their own business in public and posting it to social media. Also influencers who shove their camera and microphones into the faces of people who clearly don't want to be interviewed. Littering. Insurances refusing payments to things they are created for. What's the last time you heard that health insurance fulfilled the needs of a patient without any type of gimmick? What are some really bad common life choices? Staying in a bad situation because you are afraid of changing it. Dating the wrong person for too long. Wrong career. Substance abuse. Not getting enough sleep. Credit card debt. Excess. Be that drinking, smoking, eating, or just working too much. Thinking that a threesome or a baby will fix a bad relationship. Neglecting relationships, failing to invest time and effort in maintaining relationships with family, friends, or partners, which can lead to loneliness and a lack of support. Failing to invest in yourself, whether it be learning new skills, exercise, therapy, or simply experiencing new things. Think you can do it later. You've been told you look like someone. Who is it? Jessica Alba. The only problem is that I'm a man. I'm Macy, and I've been told by the inmates that I look like a, quote, fake-ass Tom Cruise. Could be worse, I guess. Brendan Fraser. The comparison doesn't hold the same currency it did 15 years ago. Michael Cera. I'm a girl? Depends on which country I was. George W. Bush, Mr. Bean, George Costanza, Patrick Stewart. The doorman at Pat O'Brien's in New Orleans randomly told me that I looked like the guy on the box of Lemonheads. I was insulted and amused at the same time. If someone gave you $1,000 a day to never drink alcohol again ever, what would you do? Be sober and rich. Whatever I want with my $365,000 a year. Never drink alcohol again. Wait, how dumb is this post? I thought originally it was $1,000 total and the thought passed my mind. You're saying several $1,000,000 to never drink again. Should people do that for free all the time? Speaking as a heavy drinker, I'm taking the money. It's not even close. I'll figure out how to quit. My job is most of why I drink anyway. I take the easy money. I don't even drink to begin with. Figure out what I'm going to do with $30,000 a month. What's the weirdest dating requirement you have? ITT people not understanding the word weird. Mine is you have to at least appreciate frogs a little. If you dislike frogs, I'm not interested. Don't eat all the fully loaded nachos. My wife said she wouldn't swipe right on anyone with a gym pic or dog because she didn't want to get up on weekend morning with a hangover and need to do stuff. No sneaking off to the bathroom to do heroin. If you eat all my pickles and put the empty jar back in the fridge, I'm breaking up with you. I love it when they have a hyperfixation. Not having the same name as my sister or my mom. Alternatively, my name is unisex and a girl with my name is a turn-on. What is far more rare than people realize? Serial killers. Northern Lights. The amount of people I've heard say, we've come all this way. What time do they come on? Is staggering. Green eyes make up just 2% of the global population. Solid brown fur cats. Apparently, it's some kind of recessive gene in them. Helium. Humility and an understanding that we're sometimes the victim and sometimes the perpetrator. No one is ever just one or the other. Good, honest friends who don't have ulterior motives. The ones that genuinely enjoy your company and friendship. Hold on to them. A stable, loving, peaceful domestic life. Critical thinking skills. Real friends. Bit of peace and fucking quiet. What are rich people doing differently to become rich? My grandfather's comment to me when I graduated from college was, "It's not how much you make, but how much you keep." I'm sure that's not a comment original to him, but I've kept it in mind throughout life thus far. Far from rich, but it's been good advice. When most people say they want to be a millionaire, what they might actually mean is I'd like to spend $1 million. And that is literally the opposite of being a millionaire. Morgan Housel. Also, what makes people poor is somebody trying to trade after watching a YouTube video. What is the most humiliating thing a person can go through? You hear about the guy who shit himself so bad the plane had to turn around the other day. I'm guessing that was pretty bad. I get a serious case of secondhand embarrassment when I see a person who is desperately, foolishly, and pathetically in love with another who is just using them and treats them blatantly like garbage. Ugh. If you've never been in a situation that caused you to be unable to wipe your own butt, let me tell you the first time is awkward and humiliating. Your wife cheating on you multiple times, then pulling you onto her podcast to talk about how it made you feel. What is the most pathetic fact about yourself? I am a 40-year-old woman and I'm still a little afraid of the dark. I don't like to turn the basement lights off until I get all the way upstairs. Most of my clothes are 10 years old because I have no idea where women my age shop or how to know what's on trend, so I don't even try. I get overwhelmed easily. I'm always lonely no matter how many people I surround myself with. I just go along with the flow. Life happens to me. I never really try for anything. It's always just, I guess this is what we're doing now. Which is probably why I don't care about my degree subject or job and have never had a relationship. I'm not even sure I'm a real person. What is ruining most relationships nowadays? Studies show that one major contributing factor is the lingering illusion of choice. There is always this unhealthy delusion to miss out on an even better opportunity, which makes people less patient about small problems and more picky. Thinking that you must always feel that intense feeling you feel at the beginning of a relationship, and that when it subsides, you're not in love anymore. Lack of self-awareness, lack of accountability, and willingness to commit or address communicate issues, and the belief that the grass is greener elsewhere. The constant grind of daily life. I have a fucking amazing marriage. But Jesus Christ, the daily 10 hours away from home and the stress is soul-sucking. Lack of communication. What's something that people turn into their whole personality? Their job. Owning a Jeep. My Texas high school had a British club. I'm actually a British citizen, so I tried to join. Those people were nuts. They made Doctor Who and Sherlock their whole personalities. Disliking something. Met someone the other day who hates avocados so damn much every conversation they'd have would come back to how different they were from most people because they hated avocados. Not so much anymore, but circa 2010 it was loving bacon. I want to say mems, but that just makes me sad about myself. I have an intern paralegal in my office this fall whose entire personality is vaping. Their dietary preferences. What's the hottest thing a woman can do while kissing? Kiss me back aggressively, enthusiastically. Don't just allow me to kiss you. Wrap one of her legs around my legs. The lady hump. An ex of mine would make involuntary little moaning noise at the back of her throat. That used to do wonderful things to me. Run fingers through hair. Or in general draw you into the kiss and not just be a passive participant. Touchy-feely grabby? If she grabs my hands and uses them to pull me into the kiss. Also, if she guides my hands along her body, I actually lost my balance that time and we fell. On the bed. Initiative tongue tennis and grab my package. What's the scariest disease you've heard of? Rabies. Fuck that. ALS. You just get to chill while your body starts to fail you. You become more and more of a burden to those around you. Slowly lose the ability to walk. Feed yourself, bathe. Then one day you can't get up at all. Then you can't talk. You barely move your head at all. But you can't still think. You can see your family suffering, watching you slowly deteriorate. It's a nightmare for all involved. Dementia, and because you basically sit back and watch as it slowly starts to eat away at you. But there's nothing you can do. Locked-in syndrome. Fully conscious, but can only move your eyes. Just fucking locked inside your own body with your mind. What's a fast food place that everyone hypes up, but it's really trash? Honestly, it comes down to the ownership as much as the brand. I've been to a good Burger King. And a Culver's that was a total shit show. Edit, or as another commenter pointed out, a particularly good employee. Really, the biggest thing is if the people running the place actually give a shit or not. Panera, everything has that ubiquitous tint of cleaning fluid they use on the line. Sonic for me. Every single thing on the menu tastes like a frozen great value meal from Walmart they shoved in the microwave for too little time. Even the soda somehow tastes worse, as if they watered it down too much. I like the drive-in setup, but I really wish it was literally any other restaurant's food. What was ruined because of 9/11? Quick airline travel. People would often show up 30 minutes or so before a flight and be able to board on time. Turn of the millennium optimism. National news coverage. The crawler only appeared during major events or simultaneous big stories. It never went away after 9/11. Lots of people's birthday celebrations. Airports. We used to take $60, $120 flights to Texas, Florida, California, Washington, New York, Nevada, etc. willy-nilly, in and out, like going through a mall. What can you proudly say you've never done? Crack. Shit in the shower. I've never gotten a DUI. Being a 40-something living in Wisconsin my entire life makes that a nearly unbelievable fact. Been arrested. Died. Murder. Heroin. Meatloaf that. Never watched an episode of The Kardashians. Cheated. And I tend to keep it that way. Came from a broken family and I don't want my kids to experience the shit me and my siblings went through. Never broken a bone. Let suicidal ideation take over. This is actually shameful, but I have never tarred and feathered a politician. Throw stones at street dogs' cats. Methamphetamine. What is the dumbest thing people called you gay for? I was called gay for showering daily. Like giving oral to my wife. Will never understand that. I remember they'd ask you to look at your nails and apparently dependent on how you held your hand when you looked at them made you gay. Personally, I think having a loving relationship with a man makes me gay, but that's just me, I guess. Had a guy genuinely ask if I was gay because I was wearing a red pair of Vans, for having P as one of my initials, because the slur for gay people in my mother tongue starts with a P. I was a child in the 80s. Calling people gay was standard derogatory talk for checks, notes, literally everything. Bad play in sport, choice of clothes, hobby, etc. If you didn't receive any type of medical intervention, what age would you have naturally died? 16 yo, epilepsy. Without medical intervention, some 30 of us would be dead of smallpox before 20 years old. At birth, my umbilical cord was around my neck. 17. Stage 4 cancer. Fuck you, cancer, I'm still here. Age 4. Huge asthma attack. I had the widowmaker artery blocked and would have just dropped over dead at 58. I was a runner at the time, so it was a huge surprise. I wouldn't even have had a shot. My mom has a tilted pelvis that requires a C-section to deliver babies. My sister would have taken her out. 29. Well, if choking counts, Buddy did the hind lick on me and it shot right out. What's a red flag about yourself? I find myself getting upset with people for not meeting expectations that I haven't communicated to them. I'm codependent and try way too hard to people please in a relationship. I'm a procrastinator, but I'm planning on doing something about it real soon. I hate myself, so what the fuck is wrong with you if you like me at all? Well, it's nearly impossible for me to stop drinking after about 3-4 drinks. Then I black out and make awful decisions and ruin relationships. I've had to drinks in the past 73 days and no blackouts. I overshare a lot. Self-isolation. What is a dead giveaway that someone is creepy or a weirdo? They don't understand personal space. They constantly have interactions where everyone else is completely crazy. Normal people don't get banned from Costco, spit on gas station attendants, and get tased by the cops. If this shit happens to you, you're probably a creepy weirdo. And yes, I'm sure all of your ex-girlfriends were the problem. Chris Hansen asks them to have a seat. Anyone else reading this to see if they're weirdo, or just me and my social anxiety? They make comments that are absolutely out of line, like sexual or violent comments. Like it's normal. It's one thing to joke, but you can just tell when someone is being serious. Where's my hug? What is a dirty little secret about an industry that you have worked in that people outside the industry really should know? They put little weights in lipsticks to make them feel more expensive so they can charge more. If your business uses an inventory company, your numbers will not be correct. In the consulting world, nobody really knows what they're doing. When the health inspector shows up, a mad scramble happens in the back to clean the kitchen while they start the inspection in the dining bar area of the restaurant. What's something you were told you would grow out of but never did? Being short, gaming, acne, cartoons, video games, and metal music. Social anxiety. It only got worse. My aversion to most social events. Procrastination. My third grade crush. The punk gothic culture of the 90s to 2000s era, 30s, and still rocking it. Fantasy novels. Some of them are written for adults. On my 10th birthday, which was Pokemon themed, my parents mocked me and said when I was an adult, I wouldn't even like Pokemon anymore. Well, I'm 29 now and still fucking love Pokemon. Redditors with younger coworkers. What was your I'm officially old moment? They started calling me Mom or Mama Bear on the walkie-talkies. I find it kind of enduring. Actually, when I fell down the last couple of steps on a stairway, no one pointed and laughed like I expected. Instead, they helped me up and asked me if I was okay. That's when I knew. Years ago, before I retired, when I met a new young troop and realized I'd been in the military longer than they had been alive. Younger dude said his first gaming console was the PlayStation 4, first computer ran Windows 8, and had no idea what we meant by dial-up or rotary phones. Had to stop and reevaluate my age lol. When they say you look great for your age like did. What immediately tells you that a person wasn't raised right? Littering. When a person is supposed to apologize but makes excuses instead. Lack of personal accountability. They can never admit wrongdoing on their part. It's always someone else's fault. When they talk badly about someone who hasn't done anything wrong behind their back. Lack of consideration for others. People who dump refrigerated grocery products on random aisles. Finding cruelty funny. When they can't take no for an answer. They litter, not small things like cigarette butts or straw wrappers either, which is bad enough. But I'm talking like whole McDonald's bags out the window on the highway. Fuck those people. Having kids only to neglect or abandon them. For those that don't want any kids in the future. Why? Personally not interested in the stress, responsibility, and dedication it takes to look after babies, toddlers, and kids. Live for a long time. I don't see myself wanting to be around kids when coming home after a long day, then deal with a screaming baby OFC not all the time, which needs attention the entire time I'm home. I don't have a reason to have kids. What would you name a newborn child if you really wanted to ruin their life, but wanted to maintain plausible deniability about having done it on purpose? I had read a story about how a woman unintentionally named her daughter after a concentration camp. She said she just liked the name and had no idea. The craziest part was that she got pretty far before anyone told her. My granny is called Eileen. Little did my great-grandparents know that she would contract childhood polio that left her with one leg longer than the other. I feel terrible for this. My granny is a come on. Tony spelled Tuffna. What are y'all starting to dislike the more and more older you get? Social media. It's just gotten worse and worse since I was in high school. Loud noise. Trying to be cool and get attention, especially with people whom I am not close to. Now I just wish to be peaceful. Everything needing an app. Why can't I just use this perfectly fine browser? People. Meeting new people. I'm 62. Working has lost its color. Hangovers. Children screaming for no reason and loud noises really frustrate me. Work. At this point, I'd rather not do it lol. The 5-day work week. What is 1 HP of damage in real life? Trying to open a beer you thought was a twist top. Static shock. Dropping your phone on your face. Ironically, stepping on a D4. When you eat a chip and it hits the roof of your mouth, sharp corner up. Trying to open a tight lid till it hurts. Working on the engine of a car and bumping your head on the hood as you get up. Saying bye to someone walking the same way. When you pull a pizza out of the oven and take a bite without waiting for it to cool down and burn the roof of your mouth. You lose 1 hit point from the pain, but you also lose 5 intelligence points because you should have known better and will probably do it again at some point like I always do. People who left their spouses for the person you cheated with. How did things end up? Nearing his deathbed, my dad said he regretted leaving his first wife. My mom was his mistress. Well, let's just say I now have to ex-spouses to avoid at family reunions. My ex-husband cheated on me and left me for her. By all accounts, they were happy for a short time. A very short time. Once the excitement of cheating wore away, they were left with nothing but each other. My ex-husband ended up alone and miserable because the woman he left me for cheated on him. Repeatedly. Karma. My husband's dad left his mom for his affair partner. It's been 38 years that they've been together now. Is he happy? No idea. Husband and his brothers haven't spoken to their dad in decades. What's a total waste of money yet people still pay for? The bag of spinach in my refrigerator that was purchased to replace the previous and now spoiled bag of spinach. Internet service providers that still don't offer unlimited data plans. Scientology. The money people send to celebrity preachers. Extended warranties on something like a small appliance under $200. It is exchangeable at the store during its original warranty, and the amount of jacking around and possibly shipping charges or service fee is not even worth it. Annually replacing a smartphone. Reddit awards. Edit. I wasn't going to say anything, but how in the hell did someone give me Eternian all-powerful? Anyway, thanks for wasting your money on me, guys. Paid followers. Your 10-year self meets the current version of you. What would she think? I am a total failure, but at the same time, He was dumb as fuck, so he'd just be like, you have a computer and a Nintendo. Oh no. 10-year-old me would be disappointed. What the fuck did you do to me? What the hell is wrong with you? See, I told you we were gay. Where did our hair go? Pretty damn proud. Thanks. That question made me smile. Dayuam, why you so fat? You're still alive. Depression got me at 10-11. Is it possible to have a crush on myself? Oh, we have ADHD. That explains a lot. What things are seen as weird by the younger generation that we need to normalize again? Internet privacy. Not being accessible all the time. Just because I have a cell phone doesn't mean I want to answer it at the supermarket, or while cooking dinner, or while driving. That's cool that my boss checks emails in his Tesla driving 20 minutes to work, but I would rather not. I need a break. Not bringing your phone into the sauna steam room. Not having everything you do in public recorded. To random people arguing. Gotta record it. Bad car wreck. Don't help. Record. Natural disaster. Don't run. Stay undocumented until someone has to rescue you. Then get the rescue for maximum likes. Everyone keeps acting like teenagers in their 20s. Like 30 is the new 20. What happened? Societal shifts and changing life expectations have led to a prolonging of youth and delayed adult milestones. Bad economy pandemic. More people in their 20s staying at home with their parents due to rising costs of rent. On top of that, COVID isolation. I was 20 when the lockdown happened, then turned 21, 22, 23, and those years just feel like a blur. Newly turned 24 and still feel 20. Life is too short to grow up too fast. I'm almost 30. I hardly feel like an adult. I'm just kid with a drinking permit that needs to pay bills and can't afford to move out of my parents' house. What was loved by poor people until rich people ruined it. Quiet out of the way country cabins sitting by lakes ... Now they are overpriced errands. eBay. It used to be so useful to get all kinds of cheap or unique things. Then more and more big commercial sellers joined the club, and eventually eBay itself forgot about what and who made their platform a success in the first place. Buying a fixer-upper home and spending weekends working on it. I was really looking forward to that. Etsy. Van life and tiny house living. Going to the farmer's market. Thrift shopping. I'm not thrifting, I'm fucking broke. Blue-collar residential neighborhoods in the city. Pickup trucks, they used to be much cheaper. You win $1 million. The catch is you have to spend it in a week. How would you spend it? Easy. Buy a house cash and prepay home insurance, property taxes as far as that money will get me. Student loans, house, car, it's gone. Maybe a nice Chesterfield or an ottoman. Property hooker. 500,000 cheeseburgers. Buy a 400 square FT shack in San Diego. Gotta add the caveat that it can't be invested to make this question truly interesting. Yarn, my parents' mortgage, a renovation for their house, cheese. Watch Brewster's Millions for ideas. Buy Vanguard SP500Fs and then spend the rest of the week sniffing my own farts. Pay off house and spend the rest on a boat. People who have adult children that don't talk to you. Why do you think that is? Parent, it's because I fucked up and neglected the relationship. I wasn't the father she deserved. It's that simple. Their dad gave an ultimatum if they want to have a relationship with him. They had to go and see edit no contact with me. My middle child agreed to those terms. My mother told me 3 weeks after I lost my father best friend at 14 that he has told her on his deathbed that adopting me was his greatest mistake. It stuck with me my whole life. I'm 38 now, and no, it wasn't true. But that narcissistic bitch can rot in hell. Who was your first celebrity crush? Pink Power Ranger, Amy Jo Johnson. Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Tiffany Thiessen. Christina Ricci. Elizabeth Shue. Catherine Zeta-Jones in Zorro. Olivia Newton-John or Catherine Bach. That was a long time ago, so either one of them. Alicia Silverstone. Devon Sawa. JTT Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Heartthrob of the times. Kelly Bundy. Susanna Hoffs, she's still a beauty. Raquel Welch. Cameron Diaz from The Mask specifically. First time watching that scene when she's dancing in that glittery dress, as a kid I felt my jaw dropped as far as Jim Carrey's character. Daisy Duke. What is you go to poor man's meal? Throwing leftover anything inside a warmed-up flour tortilla, now it's a burrito. Sleep. Ramen and a boiled egg. It's very Japanese. Baked potato. Grilled cheese and tomato soup is my fucking jam. 2 fried eggs and toast. Awesome meal. Buttered toast with cinnamon sugar sprinkled on top. A peanut butter sandwich with banana mixed in. To the gays of Reddit, what are nonverbal signs someone gives nowadays that you read as gay? As a gay guy, I have no idea, but I know for a fact that people suspect I'm gay. I just don't know how. Brr, I'm a straight woman. But literally everyone thinks I'm gay lesbian to the point that it affects my dating life. I literally can't fathom why. It's a running joke in my family that I'm gay, but just missing the part where I like women. Edit not a singular man to date has asked me out directly, not even once. But I've had 6 women and counting in the past year. Like WTF. Literally any physical movement. What did you realize after getting married? I don't get upset if I don't make the cut for someone else's wedding. That shit is expensive. People can be really, really good at hiding who they truly are. How much easier it is to afford things as a joint couple with 2 incomes. That true partnership means conflict is inevitable but productive. Part of me knew we disagree, but it took some time to know the best way to work through it. It's not being a doormat and it's not being right every time. Everyone was wrong. Marriage changed nothing. Change everything. Bad marriage does way more harm than being alone. What's the stupidest double standard you ever heard from someone? My crazy uncle used to hire undocumented immigrants while complaining that illegal aliens were stealing people's jobs. He liked to hire them because they worked hard and were cheap. My friend's mom said men cheating and women cheating are different because men only care about the physical and not the emotional. Come to find out, she was being cheated on by her current husband, and I am assuming this is how she coped. Company won't give you a reference when you leave, just your dates of employment and job title. Same company won't hire you without a reference. My aunt slept for wearing short skirts. She doesn't know the father of 2 of her 3 children. What is some rich shit you do even though you are not rich? Food. I buy what I want and I try new stuff. I like cooking. Forget to cancel my free trial. My thermostat stays at the temperature setting of what is most comfortable to me and nothing will change that. Buy the good toilet paper. Some days I have to sandwiches at lunch. I smile as I watch all my fellow proletariat eating their single sandwich. I only buy real maple syrup. It's several orders of magnitude better than all the other high fructose corn syrup, and I use it in my baked beans and various glazes. I own a house. I paid for WinRAR. I sometimes buy name brand cheese instead of the store brand. What profession always acts like they have the hardest job on earth, but it actually isn't all that bad? My family acts like my job is difficult engineering leadership constantly in meetings where I'm arguing with people my wife's words. I've been a software engineer for the last 20 years. And now most of my job is soft skills, mostly focusing on concepts and mentoring rather than actually doing the grunt work. I love it. This is by far the cushiest job I've ever had. They're all crazy. Real estate agent. Sales, we are a big bunch of whiny babies a lot of the times. I think it's because of the extreme highs and lows we go through. Military spouses.